Simon from SB and Catherine our team.
First in the team, of course, is His Excellency, the Prime Cabinet Secretary of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Mudavadi.
They're now calling you Sally. So we are set. Yes. Okay. Asante sana. Thank you, sir. The morning hours. Sir. Focus. Good recovery. Good weight. Yeah. Yes. That's what 7. Fast. Very fast.
huh? You can have a handshake.
Handshake.
Nice. Nice.
I'm a happy man today because I did a whole 18. I've been missing the course, so this was a good opportunity. I had a very nice 4-ball. Where are they? These good gentlemen, if they can stand up. Thank you so much for giving me a good round of golf, stress-free. Hakuna siasa. It was just golf. So I really enjoyed it, and I would like to encourage us to promote this sport as we promote others. You heard my colleague Kipchumba talk about sports, how it is so important in getting us through certain difficult times. Of course, I remember one occasion, because people had not quite realized the importance of sports. But if you go back into history, you will remember that there was an occasion when I think there was some tension in this region. And I believe it was President, perhaps Carter, or somebody, who then sent the late Muhammad Ali as his special envoy in the region to try and bring peace, because there's some tension in the countries. But at that time, some countries received Muhammad Ali and others did not. And the politics of that time was that how could you send a sportsman, a boxer, to go and talk diplomacy to heads of state? So it was being chided at that time. But little did we know that in the future, sports was going to become an extremely important tool of diplomacy. So asante sana, and I want to assure you that I beat these guys fair and square. Mheshimiwa Kipchumba, there was somebody else, a very senior person on the African continent, I will not mention his name, but those who had a chance to play golf with him, whenever he would get onto the green, you know, that is where you do the final putt. I'm sure some of you saw my final putt there. It was a serious one. But what this guy used to do, he would wait, and because he was a very senior person, you would have to give it to him. Because if you don't give, labda mtaonana nyuma ya tent. So he would avoid putting, and then he gets there once he's on the green, and then he looks at you, and he expects you to say, it's given. That means he should not putt because he doesn't want to miss. So I'm just saying that these guys did not give me any free putts. I putted. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us celebrate our evening. Let us enjoy our golf, and thank you for being with us as we mark 60 years of diplomacy. Asanteni sana. I am delighted to see you all this evening as we celebrate the climax of the Diplomatic Golf Challenge and enjoy a social evening together. Let me, on behalf of the government and my colleagues, express our greatest appreciation to you for joining us to celebrate 60 years of Kenya's diplomatic journey, which started after our independence in 1963. Kenya has contributed immensely to friendly relations, international peace, and harmony during the past 6 decades. We have extended a warm hand of friendship to the global family of nations, as witnessed by the expansion of our diplomatic footprint from 12 missions at independence to 71 missions around the world today. We are proud to have opened 32 missions in Africa, 17 in Asia, 15 in Europe, 6 in the Americas, and 1 in Oceania. This underlines our commitment to build mutual relationships with all the people of this world. We chose to inaugurate the celebration of 60 years of our diplomatic journey through a sport that shares some common and unique characteristics with the practice of diplomacy. And you heard my Principal Secretary, Singoe, make some remarks on this. Golf is an old sport which became officially accepted in 1502, when King James IV of Scotland gave it the royal seal of approval. This distinguished sport, just like diplomacy, provides a good avenue for friendships, connection, and strategic partnerships. The symbolic nature of today's event is illustrated even more through the rich legacy of the Royal Nairobi Golf Club, which was the first golf club in Kenya. It began in 1906 and received the royal grant of patronage from Buckingham Palace in 1936. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate the kind gesture of your presence here tonight for this dinner, a true testament of the cordial relations between the government, the diplomatic community, the private sector, and other institutions represented here. In a special way, let us appreciate the Kenya Commercial Bank, the main sponsor for partnering with us to make this diplomatic golf event and dinner truly memorable. Today's events precede the official start of our week-long celebrations of 60 years of Kenya's diplomacy under the theme, Kenya's Diplomatic Journey in Contributing to a Secure, Sustainable, and Prosperous Future. I look forward to your participation in the forthcoming events.
Your Excellency, we know that Kenya is ranked in the top 5 in the number of golf courses in Africa, coupled with very good weather of all year round, breathtaking sceneries, and diverse wildlife. It is an ideal golfing destination. As a matter of fact, Vipingo Ridge is the first and so far the only PGA accredited golf course in Africa. We are ranked the 7th in the 2024 All Africa Golf Team Championship in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe in late October, even though we featured a young team, but actually very talented. The annual Magical Kenya Open, which I really look forward to us hosting next year, is the only DP World Tour event in East and Central Africa and dates back to 1967. Golf receives very good sponsorship by the private sector in Kenya, and we appreciate the partnership as a ministry. In fact, this is an area we really struggle as a ministry to find sponsors. And I must start by thanking KCB, because KCB is sponsoring nearly all the sports in the country. I know we have a small problem in football at the moment, and many of the sponsors, including KCB, have not been able to support the Federation, for Football Federation, but at least they are supporting their club. And so I think golf is leading in showing how accountability and proper organized sport and federation can help us achieve more support and sponsorship from the private sector other than depending on the government resources. And therefore, we want to thank the private sector, starting with KCB, for being in the forefront in terms of supporting sports in the country. Your Excellency, our athletes' success has contributed to our positive image and standing in the world. Our athletics prowess precedes us in the world capitals. It's a ready source of soft power in any negotiations. Bracelets featuring our national colors have come to symbolize strength and invisibility all over Africa and the wider world. The allure of this country means that diplomats choose to live here after the end of their tour of duty. It is easy to win hosting bids in our country thanks to our sports standing. Our country welcomes athletes from all over the world to train in our country, especially our high altitude training grounds, fostering friendly relationships with other countries. Our athletes are also used as brand ambassadors for other races in the world. Last week, marathon world record holder Ruth Chemngetich was a guest in the Great Ethiopian Run, while Eliud Kipchoge is in Thailand next week. He will be in Thailand next week to promote distance running. In fact, he's in China as we speak to promote distance running. Over the years, our top athletes have been chosen as goodwill ambassadors. Just last month again, Eliud Kipchoge was made the UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador for Sports, Integrity and Values. And some of our notable names in athletes globally include in the game of rugby, where Humphrey Kayange, Colin Sinjera, among others, are our top brands in the world. We know that we have very good tennis players led by Angela Kutoi, who is doing very well. The young girl will be a sensation in the near future. We know in football, a sport that many Kenyans love, that the Wanyamas, Victor and McDonald Mariga are some of our top players who have played in Champions League and Premier Leagues and Italian League. We know that in golf, Mr. Mutui Kibugu is doing very well insofar as the game of golf is concerned. So all these players and athletes are actually the best brand of our country. They give us the best value that no advertisement can ever give us because of what they do all over the world.
I was pondering about the subject of golf and diplomacy as I came. Your Excellency, golf has saved the relationship of countries. I recall a small incident which mushroomed into a big incident between Singapore and the United States about 1993, when a young man called Michael Fay, who was accused of vandalizing vehicles and road signs while on a trip to Singapore, was arrested and charged and sentenced to be caned, to be flogged, like 6 times, according to Singaporean law. And that created a real kerfuffle between the United States and Singapore. It took a game of golf between President Clinton and the Prime Minister of Singapore to remedy that relationship. I want to submit that we are back, in my view, to the resonance of golf diplomacy, because in a few months, we will have at the White House a man who loves golf. And I believe very much that Mar-a-Lago, which is his golf sort of paradise, will play host to many diplomatic engagements. And so it's not inappropriate for us as a foreign service to choose this as the first event within what will be a week-long series of events to celebrate our 60th anniversary. Your Excellency, there is so much that golf can do for our country. And through you, because you're an avid golfer, I'm sure that this sport can be promoted and become another source for pulling into the country quite some critical investments.